And we are live. Live. Third installment of Question and Answer with Panther. Wait till some people get up in here. Ooh, excuse me. So I should take these out. I'm not at work. What's going on, Derek? What's going on, brother? Hope everything good. Where you at? Brother DeBerry, what's going on, bro? What's happening? Brother Sean, always on time. What's going on, bro? Hope everybody's having a great Saturday afternoon. If you're joining me for the first time, this is something I've been doing for the last 2 weekends, question and answer with me. I have a wealth of experience in African studies, so I like to just do this interactive show so people can ask questions. Say Lafiani, Brother Sean, or Arakurin Iniharat Sean. So this is a show where you can ask questions, and I will do my best to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I will try to find you the answer. Being that my lane is African culture, African studies, Afrocentric studies. I cover a wide range of topics. So, fire when ready. As always, I'm always ready. So I stay ready so I don't have to get ready, as they say, If you notice, I checked in at the Kingdom of Wakanda, if y'all don't know. So that's where I'm going to pretend like I'm at. What's going on, Sean Yancey? What's going on, bro? Oh, boy. Okay. Just waiting on your questions, family. Hope everybody's Saturday is going well. Mine was pretty well. Went to the gym. You got to stay strong when you're a strong African, man. You got to stay strong. You never know what's going to pop off, So get in the gym, get in shape. Whether you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, whatever it is, man, get them goals accomplished. I got to remember to keep scrolling this thing up because when y'all ask y'all questions, it won't rotate on its own. So, yeah, waiting on y'all. Maybe I should invite some. Man, you should invite some people. Should have did that. Start this thing off. Let me get, of course, I got to invite the squad, Armor Raw squad up. Mossi Warrior Clan, Spears is flying, Pseudos is crying. They've been crying a lot lately. A whole lot lately. But, that's the nature of the beast, nature of the game. Give me a second while I invite some people. Just inviting people. Inviting people. That's enough for now. Let's deal with the Lakers. What specifically? Okay, hold on. Let me go in order. Dang, y'all asked a lot while I was Bro, is there a conflict from African studies and being a traveling man? No, absolutely not. Actually, some of our great African studies giants in our field were actually traveling men. Arturo Schomburg, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Khalid Muhammad, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois. These are giants in the Pan-African movement, and they were also Prince Hall Freemasons. Did ancient Egyptians eat meat? Absolutely, they ate meat. I don't know where this narrative comes from that they didn't. For the life of me, I don't know where it comes from. But if you go to the mastaba temples in ancient Egypt, you will see depictions on the wall where they're catching fish, where they're catching different animals, where they're preparing these animals for feast. And this is something I'm not just telling you. I've seen this with my own eyes, twice to be exact. So ancient Egyptians definitely ate meat. Let's stop that narrative that they were vegans. They were not. Matter of fact, while we're on that topic, Africans in general weren't vegans. Not to say that they ate meat like we do. Like, Americans eat meat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack meat. They didn't do it like that. Meat was generally like one meal a day. But, they definitely ate meat. And that's an African tradition. We are hunters. Some of the most powerful deities in Africa are named after hunters, and they were hunting animals. So hope that clears that up for you. Good question, baby. What do you think about the Jay Morrison movement to restore Black Wall Street? I applaud that brother for creating something great. He's doing something. Him and his queen, Sister Johnson. I applaud that brother and that sister for doing that. In time, I hope to invest in that as well. It's do or die. If you want to stay in America, you have to do something. That brother is doing something. So I applaud him. Shouts out to him. I think it's called the Tulsa Real Estate Company or something like that. But shouts out to that brother. Okay, Brother Sean, let's deal with the Ilekes. Okay. Ilekes, the word Ileke in Yoruba means bead. These are what you see around my neck. Ilekes, they are representations of different orishas. So the colors that I'm wearing represent different orishas. Like you see this one here, this golden yellowish color is of the orisha Oshun. Oshun is related to love, the blood in your body, the culture, things of that nature. The white one is Obatala. Obatala, pureness, creation from the mental aspect, calmness. This one, this burgundy one, Oya, spirit of constant change. Spirit of bad storms and hurricanes, tornadoes, swift change in your life. So you can see the correlation there. So each Ileke carries what we call the ashe, or the energy of these different primordial and cosmic forces in the universe. So when we wear them, we carry a little bit of the power of the universe, because the universe is connected to us. Therefore, we connect to the universe. It's not something, well, don't get me wrong, you can buy these anywhere, but to get the ashe put in them, there's a ceremony that is done. You will hear it referred to as, getting your Ilekes or getting your warriors, which is another ceremony that involves different Ilekes. So when you've been in the tradition for a while, you'll see people with different types of Ilekes or different colors that represent different orishas. So that is the Ileke gist. That's what you see me wear. And the further you get into the culture, like I said, the more Ilekes you'll get. And that's how the Yoruba people do it. Hope I answered your question, Brother Sean. If you want me to go into more detail, please ask a follow-up question. I have no issue with that. Second, the days of the week from a creation perspective. Are you asking me how many days it took to create what we call existence in African tradition? Is that what we talk? Is that what you're asking? I'm not quite sure. Let me know. I see you asked another question. We talked about water when it comes to the ancestral shrine. Can you elaborate for those who are starting a shrine or have hesitations? Okay. Ancestral shrines are different in different traditions. I can only speak about the Ifa tradition, but traditionally, if you're starting an ancestor shrine, one of the most important ingredients is water. Water represents life, substance, things of that nature. So you always put cool water on your shrine. For me, I change my water for my ancestors every day. I have heard that there are some ilays that change it every week. Different temples do things in different ways. I'm not going to say which way is right or wrong, but I go to my ancestors every day. I change their water every day because I want them to know how much I revere and respect them and honor them being my progenitors, them being the ones that came before, them the ones I lean on when I'm in trouble. So I go to them every day, and that entails changing their water every day. But simple to set up an ancestral shrine, get pictures of your ancestors, get a 7-day candle, the big tall white candles that you see like in Walmart or the dollar store. Get water. You now have an ancestral shrine. Will LeBron come to the Sixers? I don't know. You just never know with that guy. You never know. His best bet to stay where he at. Peace, Brother Matulu. Brother Sean, again, the significance of the Elekes and their meanings. I think I covered that. Can you explain the bracelets that are worn by Yoruba and his meaning? Okay, the bracelets or the these they call Ides. Ides belong to different Orishas as well. You can get an Ide from almost every Orisha. The Ide that I wear is from Orumila, hence the colors are brown and green, which are the colors of Orumila. For those people who are not familiar with the Yoruba pantheon, but they are familiar with the Kemet pantheon, Orumila would be equal to Tahuti. So divine knowledge, divine thought, wisdom, things of that nature. So I wear this Ide, and this is called the hand of Ifa, meaning it's the hand of Orumila, because Orumila and Ifa are inseparable. They're always together. So the hand of Ifa, the hand of Orumila, basically means when you go through this ceremony that you will not leave this earth before you complete your destiny or before you complete your mission. So I went through that ceremony, and that's why I wear this Ide. But there are many other Ides. There are Ides of Oshun. There are Ides of Shango. You'll see Ides of many different types of Orishas, but this is just the one that I have. Brother Devon Teat, can you give 5 books to start out for a brother and a sister beginning their journey to reprogram themselves from this Euro state of mind to an African state of mind? Okay, 5 books. Off the top of my head, the number 1 book that comes to my head is Blueprint for Black Power. That is the number 1 book that comes to my head. It's really like 5 books in one, but I'm not going to cheat you. Blueprint for Black Power, Falsification for African Consciousness. Both of those books are by Amos Wilson. I would also recommend The Encyclopedia of African Religion by Malefi Asante. Sorry. It has many authors, but Malefi Asante put it together. I would also recommend, I'm trying to, so many books, I'm trying to narrow it down in my head. A great book is Nasut Bidi by Asar Imhotep. I would recommend that. I also would recommend for my last book, Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. So those are the 5. I know that ain't Trav over there with you. Oh my God. Boy, I'm gonna hear about this later. Can someone with the know-how and material set up or do they need a priest to grant them permission? No, you can set up an ancestral shrine yourself. Now, I don't want to be misleading. Setting up an ancestral shrine to honor your ancestors is easy, something you can do yourself. But consecrating an ancestral shrine is something that priests do. So that involves a whole different type of process that takes a couple of days. And yes, a priest does have to do that. What are your thoughts on cloning? As in humans, I think you Negroes are out of your damn mind. That's what I think. None of these people are clones. All right, Shango in the building, huh? Kawo Kabi Luo. The naming of days, how they came about. Well, it's very broad. I am not too familiar with all the names of the days in different cultures, so I wouldn't be able to answer that too accurately. But I will say that most days in African tradition are named after deities. So it's just basically giving reverence and respect to that deity on that certain day. And in the Ifa tradition, there are different days in which you honor different orishas. We like to go to all the orishas that we can on a daily basis, but traditionally they went to orishas on certain days. Every orisha had their certain day according to their calendar. So I think somewhere in between that is how they came up with the days of how they came about. Brother Garfield in the building. Hey man, you think some pseudo challenge me? Too easy. Peace, ancestral energy. Peace, brother Owusu Abansu. That brother make clothing straight from the continent, straight from Ghana, man. You want something straight from the continent, straight from Ghana, hit that brother up. You know a lot of inside secrets. You sure you're not a Jamaican? Oh, man. Nah, that's all you, Garfield. It's all you. I'm curious, you mentioned your family is from another country. I don't remember which one. Have you investigated into the indigenous traditions of your family lineage? Also, what leads you into Ifa as opposed to your family traditions? Okay, my family's from Senegambia, which is the region of Senegal and Gambia. Yes, I've been to Senegal. Couldn't go into Gambia because of the civil unrest at the time. But yes, I did visit some sacred sites in Senegal and Gambia. And some initiation sites. Me and my wife took that journey, and it was something I'll never forget. The indigenous system of my homeland is called Afarug, and Afarug basically means way of Rug, encouraging people to live like Rug. And Rug is their supreme deity, which is not much unlike Ra, because he's represented by the sun. So that is their tradition. Their orishas or netarus would be called pangus. Excuse me. And the pangu symbol is something you've seen before. If you've seen Imhotep symbol, if you've seen the caucus used in the medical profession, you've seen the symbol of pangu. It is a snake wrapped around a stick. That's the symbol of the pangus in my tradition. Our ancestors are also called pangus. So the forces and the ancestors are together with the same name in that tradition. I have studied it, connected with people in the continent. Why I chose Ifa as a way to go and not, it's not that I didn't choose Afadarug, it's just that there are no Afadarug practitioners in America. Zero. I've looked. And if they are, they ain't coming out. So in order to have a vehicle for my African tradition, I picked Ifa. Now, when I picked Ifa, I didn't even know that I had a line that went back to Nigeria. But through years of studying and from genetic testing and as well as roots readings, I found out that I do have a line that goes back to the Benin, Nigeria area. So my father's side is Senegambian. My mother's side is Benin and Nigeria. So I actually didn't pick something outside of the scope. I got lucky in that, I guess. But I picked Ifa because I needed a vehicle to express my African culture traditionally. And I wanted to see things through my ancestors' eyes as opposed to seeing it through the Western eyes that I had all been trained to do since birth. Hope I answered your question, brother. How do you feel about, Brother Sean says, how do you feel about that imitation 16 truths of E5 floating around? The same way I feel about Philip Neimark, con artist. But people, once you get into the traditions, you'll know that it's a fraud. You'll know that he's a fraud. And I apologize if there are any students of Philip Neimark in the building. I'm not going to bite my tongue. I've read his books. I've read his material. He's a fraud. And when I say fraud, I'm not saying he wasn't initiated the right way or nothing. I'm saying the way he treats the tradition, he's a fraud. Which is older, Neteru or Orishas? Whoo, that's a good question. A question that needs more study. Some people say that the Orisha community is as old as 10,000 years. Although we start Egypt at 5,000 years, we have evidence of it going back further than that, around that 10,000 year period. So who knows? Alefia Santa, I have it for free for my book club. Good giving good information out, brother. I'm going to ignore that question, Naomi. I'm not wasting my time talking about that. Why is the Akan different with names? What do you mean by that, Brother Garfield? Why is Akan different? Oh, you mean by how they name people? Well, in the Akan system, they name people by what day of the week you were born. So their tradition, in Akan tradition, which is called Akum, my name would be Kwame because I was born on a Saturday. So if you're born on a Tuesday, your name would be Kwabena, and that's just how they do it. I don't really know why that is, but that's how they do it in their tradition. Brother Sean, can you touch on the significance of sacrifice? Well, the different types of sacrifice can be found in E5? I'm asking that correctly. Sacrifice, or what we call Egba, spelled EBO. Sacrifice is something that is mandated by our tradition. So whether it is a live blood force sacrifice of an animal, or you simply giving up them cigarettes that you've been smoking for the past 8 years, it has to be a give and take for something to transform in your life. And that's simple in life, right? If you want something to change, you have to give up something. You don't get anything for free in this life. So it's a principle based on exchange of energy of some sort, whether it be, a goat or you giving up TV or social media, whatever. It's based upon the principle of exchange to transform your life. That is the principle behind sacrifices. Priest, Brother Kofi. Peace, Brother Illumide. I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. Illumide. Ade. Yeme. Oh, okay, you got a royal name. Got to talk about that, bro. How do you feel about people blending East Asian cultures into Ifa or other African traditions? It's a battle I fight every day. It's an uncomfortable battle because you will see practitioners incorporating these East Asian traditions into African spirituality when traditionally they aren't there. What am I talking about? What are the East Asian traditions that I'm talking about? I'm talking about chakras. I'm talking about tarot cards. I'm talking about what else makes its way in there? Crystals. These are things that traditionally aren't a part of our culture as much as people would like them to be. If you study the indigenous culture, they don't know what you're talking about. So it's not there's anything wrong with practicing them, but we're talking about traditional African culture and having a vehicle to express your Africaning. So if you're going to do that, you should do it right. That's just my opinion. You know, it is what it is, but you won't find those in traditional African culture, not the way that they're using them. You will find different crystals that are naturally in Africa, but you won't find any remnants of they do this, or they take away cancer, or they heal syphilis, or, you know, you just won't find this stuff. Yeah, Lafia Rakare. Lafia to Alubabi Ifaniyi. Powerful name. Brother Drummer, what's happening, bro? Can you give us some common Yoruba phrases spoken in language? Okay, some that I've been saying, Lafia, which means peace. Modupe, thank you very much. Adupe, thank you. What else? If you want to start calling your wife queen, like I do, you can call your wife Ayaba or Olori, which means queen. Iya, mama. Yeye, which also means mama. Egba, sacrifice. EBO, is how it's spelled. I'm trying to think of other things. Mojuba, which means I give praise. It's probably all the basic terms that people will say to you. Katope, you're welcome. Yeah, that's probably about it. Did you and Naomi drop another book? Yes, we did. It's called Ikaro Mommy, Ikaro Daddy. If you want to purchase the book, please see me after this broadcast. And the book is about the importance of greeting our elders in the traditional way from the Yoruba people. So why we greet our elders in that way, why do we prostrate in front of our elders? Speak of a common phrase, Ikaro means good morning. So that's another phrase that you can use. And we're basically teaching children how to properly respect elders by greeting them in the morning. So it's a good book for your children, good book for you. You know, you can learn something out the book too. So hit me up after this and I'll send you the link. Who is your favorite Orisha and why? My favorite Orisha. Well, my favorite Orisha has to be the Orisha that rules my head, which is Ogun. And I am Ogun to the core. I can't get away from it, as my wife will tell you. Ogun, the Orisha of iron, the Orisha of truth, the Orisha of war, the Orisha of technology, the hunter Orisha, the Orisha that is most feared, one of the first Orumales to descend from what we call the Akole Orun, or the ancestral realm. Some people say heaven, but that is my favorite Orisha because I am most like him and he rules my head. But the Orishas, period, are very powerful energies, and whoever you get, you should love, respect, learn more about, and honor that Orisha. Would you recommend an Orisha or a Gun shrine after you get your warriors at Hand of Ifa? A Gun shrine. Shrines to Orisha usually come with initiation, unless it comes out in your reading that says you need this shrine now. Other than that, I would suggest a Gungun shrine because we have this thing going on in some Ilays in America that I don't agree with. You get a reading, they tell you your Orisha, they go straight to that Orisha. But they leave out their family. They leave out their Gungun. You leave out Big Mama. You leave out Grandpappy. You're leaving them out. I've been to readings where Gunguns have spoken through the reading that they were upset. You know, that you left me out. Why? You went straight to this, you know, but you know me all your life. So I definitely say Gungun, brother. In Voodoo, we call sacrifice Vosa, the same way Egba is used. Thank you for teaching me that, brother. I didn't know that. Name 3 ways Ifa has changed your life. Ooh, my wife hit me with the hard question. Dang, baby. Is this because I got you on the post earlier? This probably is. Okay. I knew you was going to do this to me. Okay. 3 ways Ifa has changed my life. Number 1, Ifa gave me more of a calmness about myself. I can be a bit of a hothead sometimes. So Ifa gave me calmness. Ifa gave me purpose in the form of destiny, telling me things about my past that I didn't connect myself. So it gave me purpose, and Ifa has given me strength. Strength because there's strength in knowledge, and there's strength in knowing. So, those are the 3 things that Ifa gave me. My head is Oshun and my back is Ashun. Ashe. Dupe, Brother Pampo. You almost got it right, Brother Sean's Modupe, but you almost got it right. Yeah, see, you corrected yourself. Give us one of your favorite Odus. One of my favorite Odus. I'm not going to say Ogunda because that would be biased because that's the Odu of Ogun. I would say Oyeku. Oyeku is one of my favorite Odus because it's where the Egungun were born, the spirit of the ancestors. And in this Odu, it talks about the transformation of death and how it's not the end. So I think that that's a very important Odu. It's the second Odu in the line of the 16 major Odus. But Oyeku leads us back to our ancestors. So we always need that Odu. Boro Boya Boshishe. Agoato. What about Oboru Oboye? Are you asking me what that means? Oboru Oboye and Aboshishe are actually 3 African women that were helping Orumila when he was in a jam. So that is the reason why we say Oboru Oboye Aboshishe to priest of Ifa. Priest of Ifa represent the energy of Orumila. So you're saying the names of the 3 African women that helped Orumila. Paz Johnson, what's going on, man? Probably still riding them bikes. When are you and your wife going to start an online class to teach us about Ifa? We actually discussed this recently. And right now we're still gathering knowledge, both of us. It'd be very vague right now. It would be very basic. And it's something that we potentially want to make bigger in the process, but we have some more learning to do ourselves, some more initiations to do ourselves, some more traveling to do ourselves. So I can't put a definite time on it, but that's definitely something we've discussed. Are there 401 Orisha, and why are there have 7 or 8 in here? Okay, there are not 401 Orisha. There are 400 plus 1 Orisha. They always say it like that. They never say 401. The reason why you only hear of a certain amount of Orisha in this particular area, which we call America, is because some Orisha are assigned to energies that we don't have here. There are no volcanoes here. There's no famine here. These are things we don't have to go through. Therefore, those Orishas don't really come up that often in America. Also, there are a lot of Orishas that are like, I don't want to say doubles, but like they're over the same things as another Orisha. For example, Obatala is an Orisha, but you also have Orinsinla. And there's another Orisha that's just like Orinsinla, that's just like Obatala. So here you have 3 Orishas, and they all do like the same thing, So instead of just, it's kind of like combining, There are a lot of hunter orishas. A lot of hunter orishas. It's not just Ogun. You got Oshosi, and you got like 5 other just straight hunter orishas. So they generally, if that comes up, they generally give you Ogun because that's like the main orisha. In Santeria, they have something called the 7 African powers, which they mandate are the major orishas. So that's pretty much why you hear the same 7 or 8. My wife said, yep. E40 voice. Can you plug the journal, please, and thanks? Yep. Pan-African Journal coming to you first quarter 2019. Killmonger's Corner. Still looking for articles, still looking for artwork, still looking for poetry. And we're going to put it together. Any book you recommend on Ifa? Yes. And I always forget the title of Baba Dayo's book. I think it's called The Cradle of Yoruba Culture, and you can find it on Amazon. Written by Araba Adayo Ologundudu. He is the chief of Puerto Rico and the United States, and my personal friend of his book. And Holy Odu is another book that you can get that is very informational. Oh, you were adding to the Yoruba phrase. Oh, my bad. I just answered something out the blue. What are your goals on the path of Ifa and Orisha worship for you and your community, and what would be your community goals in this regards? My goals are linked to my destiny. And according to my destiny, I have to become a Babalawo. And I want to use African spirituality as a vehicle to not only bring people back home to African culture, but as many people know, because they know me, I want to erect Wakanda for real. This ain't no game. This ain't no fantasy. This ain't no comic book. I really want to erect a Wakanda, a village or a meeting, place of worship and living where we can be African. And it ain't going to be in America. Parts of it may be, but it will be in the continent. So that is one of my goals for the community. That's one of my goals in life. That is what I strive for. And I just use African spirituality as a way to solve problems in our community and bring us back home, because we've tried everything else, family. Let's be honest. We prayed to other gods that were foreign to us. That ain't worked. We've tried the politics. That ain't worked. We've tried having money. That ain't worked. When are we going to try our culture? Just a suggestion. Yeah, that Baba Dayo book is heavy, but it's informational. You will get a well-rounded view of the culture if you finish. Can we get some proverbs or his creation story from you? The number one creation story in Ifa, you're talking about Oludumare tasking Obatala with creating man. So Obatala descended from the Akole Orun, or ancestors' realm, down a palm tree. Well, before that, he noticed he was too far away. So he had Ogun link a chain between the Akole Orun and the Akole Ai, which means earth, so he could get there. Then he slid down the palm tree with his 5-toed hen and his snail full of dirt. He spreaded the dirt out. The hen, scratched the dirt. This is how the mass got everywhere on earth. That's what he was carrying the hen for. So Oludumare tasked Obatala with making man. And he started making man, made man. But that tree he slid down was a palm tree. And palm trees, you can make palm wine. So Obatala made palm wine. And, he got a little busy. He started feeling a little good. He started drinking that palm wine. He was like, all right, I'm going to keep making these people, bro. I'm going to keep sipping this wine. He started making other types of humans that he didn't make in the beginning. And, he got drunk. He couldn't finish the task. So Oludumare punished him, said, "What are you doing? I asked you to make humans. What are you down here making? What are you doing?" So Obatala was embarrassed. He was feeling bad. So from that day, he said, "I will always keep my white robes clean." And that's why he is king of the white cloth. And in this particular creation story, Oduduwa, which is the founder of the Yoruba nation, which was elevated to an Orisha, he finished making man for Obatala. Now, there are several versions of this story. In another version, Obatala didn't get drunk, and he just finished making man, and that's why they called him the king of Orishas. In another version, Obatala is not even in it. It's Orunmila that made man. So depending on what part of Nigeria, the story will change a little bit, but the gist of it is an Orisha descended with a 5-toed hen and a snail full of dirt and made man, and that's the creation story. Explain your thoughts and feelings on the book, The Way of the Orishas, which you recommend. Not The Way of the Orishas, a Philip Nehemiah production. Let me be honest. That was the first book I ever read on Orishas. The first book. And later I found out there was a lot of stuff in that book that wasn't true. There are better books out there, family. I wouldn't recommend that book at all, but that was the first book that I read. But there are way better books out there on Ifa. We've mentioned 2 of them in here. William Boscombe has some good books on Ifa. So I would recommend those. What's up, Brother Boothadeen, Baba Mku, Brother Eric, what's going on, man? Hope you're still hooping, hoping everything's well with you. What are some major differences you notice between Ifa and Orisha worship in America and Africa? Any pros and cons? Differences, elaborate Ileke ceremonies. Africans don't do it. They don't do it. They will give you a ceremony, but it's not as pronounced. That's something that was developed here in America because we were taking back our culture. So we developed something that, to go, it's in your face. We're Africans. Deal with it, They didn't have to do that in Africa. So that was a ritual that was developed here. In Africa, Yemoja is not a river deity. I'm sorry, she's not an ocean deity. She's a river deity. In the diaspora, she's an ocean deity associated with a Olokun. So that's one difference. I believe salt water is Yemoja and fresh water is Oshun. So that's one little difference. Also, you will not hear Africans in most parts of Nigeria talk about warriors because warriors to them, they don't have that concept. Warriors is something that was created in the diaspora because we had to deal with the threats and the ill doings of our oppressors, the Caucasians. So we created this ritual to give people protection from these type of things. You got to think the African Renaissance movement in the 1970s, Oba Woja Edefumi I was a big part of that. If you don't know who that is, you need to find out who that is and research the Oyatunji village and his hand in not only creating that village, not only bringing us back to our culture, but his hand with a lot of African fighting groups of that era. We talk about Blak Panthers, we talk about BLA, we talk about Republic of New Africa. They were instrumental in that. So research that. But some of these rituals were developed there. So it's a little difference between us in the diaspora and Africa, but it's mostly the same. And it's no issue. Going down my timeline, can you talk about death? How the Yoruba do not see death in the same sense as the West. Well, that's African spirituality in general. It's not just the Yoruba people. Death is not the end. It's not the end in Egypt. It's not the end in Nigeria. It's not the end in Senegal. It's not the end in South Africa. It's just not the end in African tradition. We believe in what was later coined the law of energy conservation, which is energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. So when you leave this realm and this body, you transfer to something else. The Yoruba call it the Akole Orun, or the ancestors' realm. The people of Kemet, the Kemetu, the Remech, they call it the Amduat, the ancestors' realm. It's always the ancestors' realm. It's always you going back to your ancestors. So death is just another initiation in our traditions. That's it. You had responsibilities as a human. You transfer your energy to something else. Guess what? You got responsibilities as an Egungun too. So it's the same thing. That's why our ancestors really don't rest in peace. You hear this thrown around a lot, you know, rest in peace, rest in peace. But we don't really rest. Our ancestors are still working, and they work through us. Hey, it's my Lakba in the building. Baba Olalu. What's going on, brother? Baba Olalu, you know you got to get back to my wife, brother. I'm going to start calling you every hour on the hour. Miss you, brother. Love you. Monifere. What's the name of the famous river in Niger? What's the significance of that river, sir? I don't know which river you're really talking. Maybe you're talking about the one in Oshun Grove, the one that they do the ceremonies at every year. If you are, that's the river of Oshun. And they go every year to do the Oshun festival at that river. Initiations happen there. It's just basically a festival to honor Oshun. I'm going to be there this year, actually, so I can bring back more information if that's the specific one you're talking about. But understand that rivers are very important in African spirituality, and there are numerous deities that are named after rivers. It isn't just Oshun and Yemoja. It's Yewa. That's another river deity, and there's some more as well. So, you know, rivers, water is very important. I should just put it that way. My Egbe brother in the building, Awole Muhammad, Lafayette brother. Ruthadine Ashe. What do you think about those in the Black community who have put our African traditions in the same category as Abrahamic traditions and waved them off as non-significant? They've done that out of ignorance. They've done that out of not studying. If you recall, when you dismissed Abrahamic traditions, it's because you either read upon it or you were a part of it. So we have to treat African traditions in the same, you have to give them the same respect. If you were a part of an Abrahamic tradition for years and then you figured out, you're like, this ain't for me, you know, I don't believe none of this, then you have to study African traditions the same way. You can't throw away your ancestral tradition, your birthright, your lineage. That's very, that can be very costly, you know, to throw away something that, you know, we fought so hard for. Our ancestors fought so hard for, you know. I just don't see how people throw it away just because they compare it to something that you really can't compare it to. Because to be honest, Abrahamic traditions and African traditions, there's some things that are similar, but there are so many things that are different. Even the mind state is different. So, you know, I think those brothers should study more. Can one ascend to Orisha if they fulfill their destiny? Okay. We talked about this a couple years ago, the Honor Rock Squad did, because, you know, we like to call each other gods in this community. Peace God, peace goddess, you know, all this. In African tradition, the way you become a quote-unquote god, you got to put in some serious work. And that is a part of it, fulfilling your destiny. You got to, and you know, you're erected. You know, you're elevated to this level in which we say your name and praise you, you know, but you got to put in some serious work, you know. So in the interest of creating our own system, as some have advocated for, we have giants that I would consider eligible to become Orisha or Neteru or Pangul or Abuzum or these words that mean exalted or elevated being. You know, Marcus Garvey, Khalid Muhammad. You know, we have so many people that we could elevate to that level, but we have to do the spiritual work. Yes, Ocean Rivers and Nashiri, baby. Ekuche, Baba Lalu. All right. Any more questions? What's going on, Brother Taharka? What's going on, Prince Iran Ifawi? Brother Mutanta Lumbala. Peace, brother. Should we be in America creating and making up our own forms of African spirituality? Very dangerous when you start making up stuff. In order, if you want to create an entire system, you know, you got to start from the beginning. You got to start from the beginning. And that entails going to your ancestors. It always does. You have to get permission to do something like that. What I fear when people say that is the mixing and matching of other cultures like it's already being done. So it's a concern of mine. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You have to go to your ancestors. You got to get permission. And you got to, you know, build it from the ground up. It's going to take a while. But if it's worth it, there's nothing wrong with doing it. What would you say to those who make comments that was our African tradition? Where was our African tradition during slavery? They were right there. That's really how some of our people survived that hellacious event. There are many accounts of, you know, there are many accounts of priests warning kings, you know, readings coming out, you know, don't trust the foreigners. For whatever reason, some people didn't listen. Some people did listen. But at the end of the day, the technology bit us in the ass, man. The European prepared for this. We were ambushed, you know. It's hard to warn the people when they think nothing is coming. You know, Africans have been alone for so long. You know, it was just something that ambushed us. And at the end of the day, the technology took us out. The invention of the gun, you know, the cannon, these are things we hadn't seen before. And it really got us. But our African spirituality is what kept us, you know, in the right frame of mind and made us endure these hardships, you know. Even so, it's a testament to how strong African spirituality is because it survived and made it to America. It survived and made it to South America. It survived and made it to other parts of countries that have nothing to do with Africa. So our African spirituality not only kept us in a frame of mind to endure, but it also gave us the will to fight. And you have to study specific tribes to find that information. One particular tribe is the Dagara people. And what's now known as Burkina Faso, which used to be known as Upper Volta. They use their African spirituality to fight. And if you want a reference on that, get the book Of the Water and the Spirit by Malidoma Some. And he can tell you about how they use their spirituality to fight. Okay. I was wondering what you was laughing at a lot, Lou. In African spirituality, ancestors are so important to us. Can you explain how they work for us? The same way they worked when they were on Earth. It's just now the African thought is in another space and time, because that's where they're in, another space and time. They see further than us. They know things that we don't. So we call upon them to help us, to give us that foresight, to give us that insight, so we won't make the same mistakes of the last generation. You know, ancestors are very powerful in every African tradition. That's why we honor and venerate them. There is no African tradition that I have found without ancestor veneration. I haven't found one. Even some that people have told me don't have it, I found it there. What are your thoughts about white people or non-Africans in our tradition and the perspective of being all inclusive? I don't support white people in African traditions, and I'm firm on that. I'm never going to support that. I'm proud that I am a part of a lineage that supports my feelings in that. But we know all lineages don't, right? I will say this. I will never support, bow, or venerate a white Babalawo or a white priest. I'm not doing it. Ain't gonna happen. The only leniency I have with this is some of our Spanish counterparts, our Cubans, depending on their attitude, because some of them can be disrespectful too, right? But there were Cubans that kept the culture going long enough for us to travel to Cuba and retain it. You know, if you study Edefumi I, Oba Woja Edefumi I, he went to Cuba first to obtain the secrets of Ifa. Afterwards, he went to Africa and built that bridge. So there are Cubans that respect us. There are Cubans that, look at us as their mother, basically. We have the mother culture of what they practice. And then there's some that are assholes that think that we have no right to it because we lost it at one point. So it all depends on the person. But some of the Spanish people, I am willing to engage. But white folks, hell no. Were Shango used for divination? Like I don't know what you're asking, Brother Kofi. You got to slow down, brother. Slow down when you're typing this stuff. They used us against us. They got slaves from African kings and used those same slaves. Yeah, that's true, brother. Olalu, that's definitely true. In some societies, there were traders. There were people that became slave raiders for fear of being enslaved. So they did whatever the white man asked because they didn't want to end up like the people that they saw dragged away. And guess what? They still ended up like. So yes, they did use us against us. That's historically accurate. Ugbani society, I know you can't elaborate, but can you give us some significance? Okay. The Ugbani society is a society of law and order in traditional Yoruba culture. They're like your judges today. The Ugbani society is the people that you come see when you've committed some type of infraction, taboo, or crime in the community. So it's really like our justice system today. It's a society of elders that decide your fate, basically. So they are the lawmakers. Some of the important Orisha of this society are Eshu, Ogun, and Oro, which I touched on in another live video. So these are the Orisha that are very closely related to Ugbani because they were the keepers of the law in the traditional Yoruba culture. And I keep saying they were, but Ugbani societies are still alive. Ugbani societies still live in Nigeria. We just got to set one up here. Omoni Adinkra. Peace, brother. How many white outfits do you own? And how many did you get dirt? How many white outfits do I own? So, okay, brother, I'm smart. Because if you don't know, white is a common color in African spirituality because the color means pureness and calmness. So you wear these to different festivals. This is what I do. I go to Walmart and I get a bunch of white t-shirts. I go on Amazon, I buy some white pants. I probably got 3 pairs of white pants. And I got like one white hat. And that's what you'll see me in. It's easy for guys. Guys, we just get them some white tees, some white pants. I got some white shoes. I'm in there. Females is difficult because females have to wear what's called a lapa. And lapa is basically a traditional skirt. It's hard to find that type of stuff. You basically have to order it on offline. So if you got a quick bimbe to go to and you ain't got no lapa, what they usually do for females is buy a sheet and cut it. That's usually what we do. But I've gotten dirt, blood, palm oil. I can't. I got some everything on them shirts. What? And them pants. Yeah, boy, ooh. And Laulu can tell you this. My pants after the Akbalo Festival was awful. But my wife brought them back to life, so I still wear them. A lot of people don't talk about how white folks learned how to break people's juju or power in the process of enslaving our ancestors. Some people question the power of our traditions. I've never heard of that, but, are you up on your stuff? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are you going to your ancestors? Are you making your prayers? Are you making your egg bars? That's a big part of it, man. Are you making your egg bars? Man, people go and pray and festival out, but they don't make the egg bars, which is a big part of the tradition. That's how you get caught slipping. Oh, Gregor, Atlanta, Gambia. Peace to y'all. Thank you for what you did to bury my father. Whoever is manning that account, my father's Babacar Njai. So thank you for burying him. How much time does it takes to skin a bird? About 15 minutes, if you know what you're doing. About 15 minutes. Now, you got to get that ashe out that bird, too. Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about now, Sean, but you will. You will. You heard what my wife said. Do them damn egg ball. Look, listen to me. You can't just get the read. Get the and know what you got to do and not do them egg balls. You got to do them egg balls because they don't go away. The longer you wait, they stack up. You had to do one egg ball. You didn't do it. Something else happened. Guess what? You didn't do that one. You didn't do that one. And they just stack up. Just take care of it so that it can just go away. You said spicy cabbage was your favorite dish for your wife you cook. What's your favorite dessert? My favorite dessert is probably cheesecake, which I can't have that much of because I'm lactose intolerant and I'll blow my wife out to bed. But I love cheesecake. I love it. I love the cheesecake. Yeah, there's many ways to skin a bird. That is true. That is true. Just like there's many ways to skin a cat. Right you are, brother. Any more questions? I appreciate all y'all tuning in, by the way. This is how we learn. You know, Brother Kofi always says, as I learn, we all learn. And that's true. That's very true, you know. As a community, it's our responsibility to continue to seek knowledge to help and advance our people out of this situation that we're in. So as I learn, we all learn. As I share, we all share. And this is how we build our community. In Nephi, you basically ask permission to do numerous things. Is it true that you have to ask the bird permission to sacrifice the bird? For the bird, you give praise, thanks, you honor the bird. In some instances, you will do a prayer that is asking permission, but for the most part, you honor, praise, sing, you do all types of things, thanking him for sacrificing what he has going on to help you. And that's common with every egg bar you do. Chips with melted cheese is your favorite. Really, man? You gonna put me out there like that? Oh, I'm out there now. I'm out there. And two people liked it. Who was the two? You know what? First of all, chips and cheese is a recipe from my mama. My mama taught me how to make that. I'm not taking no there's no takebacks on that. Whatever. Is there dietary restrictions in African traditions? No dietary restrictions, brother, but a certain food may come out as a taboo of yours. So, for instance, I have a taboo based on my lineage. I can't eat shellfish. That's my taboo. But as far as just dietary restrictions, just like we don't eat this, or we don't eat that, or we don't eat pork, we don't eat, nah. It's based off your lineage. Some people, I think my wife can't eat pumpkin. And you'll find that taboos align with your desires anyway. My wife don't like pumpkin. And guess what? I don't like shellfish. It is what it is. Can I put alcohol on my altar? Great question. I'm glad you asked that, brother Richard Bruce. Alcohol is a big part of your altar. I didn't go after that. I didn't go over that earlier. When you talk about libations, you can use water, but when associating with ancestral shrine, we use gin. So we spray gin on our altar as a way of libations. So yes, you can, and especially if your ancestors liked a particular type of alcohol, you can put that on your altar. If he was a Thunderbird man, put a Thunderbird on the altar. If he likes cigarettes, put cigarettes on your altar. It's about the ancestors, It's about what they liked. You're honoring them. So, yes. How do I get to Wakanda? Oh, you want to get to Wakanda. If you want to get to Wakanda, I will see you on Challenge Day. And there will be no challenge today. my brother, man, Zay in the building. Is it forehead to forehead permission? Is it forehead? I'm not sure what you're asking me. Is it forehead to forehead? Oh, okay. Went blank. Yes. In some rituals, yes. Yes, it is. Especially with goats, even some birds. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Had a blonde moment for a minute. How do you feel about polyamory in Ifa? I don't have a problem with it. I personally believe one woman is enough. But even the reading for this year that came out from LA Ife said, if you believe in polygamy, this is the year to make it successful. I think it can be successful if you have the right mind frame in mind. Don't be trying to just get you another booty partner. No, she has to bring something to the table you don't already have, and y'all have to do it the right way. Brother Garfield, shut the hell up. Over there laughing and shit. What's going on, Brother Jegna? Brother Woods, my boy Cedric Bailey, man. Shouts out to you, brother. Martha Salter, peace, sister. Any more questiones? Any more questions? Y'all have some good questions, man. It's been some good questions so far. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all coming out. I was one. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Down to my last sip of Gatorade. That's empty. All right, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I appreciate y'all coming out. Y'all know this. I do this on the weekends. Every weekend, man, we can get it in. Bring your questions, your concerns, community, history, economics, spirituality, whatever questions you got related to the African paradigm, us as a people, man, bring them, man. Mossi Warrior Clan is one of the groups I represent. Our channel is called the Mossi Warrior Clan. It's very easy. You can go in there and check out all our videos. Brother Sean just posted it. We got another question. Ancestor staff, how do you feel about it? It's essential to the consecration of your ancestral shrine. And it's important that you take your time and put your effort into your ancestral staff, because that will be a symbol of your family for generations to come. So yeah, Mossi Warrior Clan channel is right there in the comments. Check us out. I got a team of young scholars dedicated to telling the story of Africa. Odabo means goodbye, JD. So we're telling the story of Africa. Particularly, we focus on West Africa, but we go all over at times. So, we're a young scholarship team. Support us. So thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. Lafia Mandala, baby Fahudie, Odabo. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.